It's Monday on W. Welcome to the show. I am Murayo Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies. Hello, Topai, how are you?
Good morning, I'm good.
How was your weekend?
Weekend was eventful.
Fantabulous.
It was eventful, interesting.
The kids had so much fun.
Kids had fun, parents had fun, gisting and conversation. It's just good to have opportunities to hang out, you know. Yeah.
How much of it can we talk about? Because it was really exciting for me.
So we can actually talk about it because
you know how tough this year has been.
Yeah.
And for me, especially for my children, you know, they have been locked up, they don't get to see their friends, so it was just amazing. Everyone was there.
So what we're talking about, for those over the weekend, Femi has a music video. What's the name of the song again? A Christmas song. Yeah. So we invited the ladies of your view and the families and their children together, and we came to my cousin's house and tried to have a beautiful music video, an all-white concept. We all came with the children, and it was fun. Morenica called my husband this morning, and she said that her daughter said, listen, Mariah, that this year has been really awful, like you said, very gloomy, and she was so happy to meet new friends, see everybody happy, just so that there's hope, that life is going back to normal, and it was good to just have family around. I mean, I really appreciate that you guys came. I loved your company, and the kids had, they couldn't stop talking about it.
Yes, my kids as well, although by the time we left, we were, bone tired and exhausted, but we're so excited. We had done like an arts craft, so I put it up to yesterday and hung it on our Christmas tree outside. It was really fun.
Trust you to do that.
So we got some pictures, we're thinking of how we're going to
the video will be out soon,
and
once I will post it so that everybody can see it. We'll see how that goes. Any other gist?
Yes, yesterday I did the makeup, I did micro shading for, I'm actually owing you, maybe in between us, we have micro shading that we've not done. So I have this woman, she watches the show, follows me on social media, and a singular person, she's a grandma, she's in her 50s, and she's brought in 3 of her friends that are in, like in the UK, and she kept telling everybody that they should do their brows, she drives them, like the person that came yesterday, she drove the person all the way from, like, after Chevron, so good to do her brows. And I just want to say thank you so much, Madam Bosse, for your support. I have another booking for Wednesday through her, like she alone, she's just bringing in everybody. You have just some clients like that they will just be like your marketer in chief. Thank you so much for that, Bosse. I'm sure she's not expecting this, but God bless you. I really appreciate it.
Anything else, Mariam? Anything? It's got to be something else.
I just finished for Lifestyle with ML. So throughout the year, every month we have the 4-week weight loss program. So I finished the last one for the year. That's for November, just yesterday. And because of that, I used to do it till the end of the year. My mom, when she came to spend time with me, she says, you spend so much time doing this, your work. When she came, my children had reported me to her even before. Like, she's always on the phone, talking to her clients. And when she saw it, she was like, there's just so much time. I know because you think you're on the phone, it's not an office. If you were at an office, you would end the day and come home. So now I'm going to do it like maybe 2 months or 3 months. Take some months off.
And then you have a time when you stop working.
Yes.
You give yourself
for me, the only big news I have is our music video, because that's all we're talking about in the house for the past 1 week.
A lot of you saw Mariah pregnant, but you do not know, you've not seen our baby. Oh my God. For me,
your baby is a musician.
This one is a musician. Mariah's baby can sing.
He's always singing.
His belly to everywhere. He's singing and he's raising his hands and he's like really animated. I'm so happy.
So I'm really excited about this. We thought about the concept of having all the family. Even Nima was there. Everybody was there. Oh Holy Night was the song. And Femi has this really beautiful voice, his bass voice, and he's been practicing. Lovely rendition. I'm hoping that to come out very well. So keep our fingers crossed. And we'll see it soon. It's Monday. So much is happening in Nigeria. Goodness me. Stay with us to go through the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. Fear of another NSAS protest grips Lagos and Abuja. CBN doubles credit for households to 300 billion naira. By-elections, Abiru Dixon debuts with Senate seats. Akufo-Addo Mahama tests strength in Ghana's poll. Why we have not called off strike by ASU. And Afe Babala calls for devolution of power. Okay, let's start with the major headline.
Yes, so the police is warning that any attempt to have another gathering under the NSAS movement would be, is frowned upon, you know, and they said that because, first of all, the first time around, there was so much violence that, you know, was associated with the movement, although the proponents of the NSAS movement were saying it's very different from what they came out for. But the second time around, what they are demanding is that many of the protesters that have been detained should be released. Some restrictions have been made on some of the accounts of the organizers by CBN. They need to take off those restrictions. So that is what they are coming out for. But the police is saying that because of the first time, the first time around, a lot of property was destroyed and vandalized. 269 private companies and assets were destroyed. No less than 243 government facilities were burnt or vandalized. 81 warehouses were looted. In Edo, Lagos, Abia, Delta, Ondo, and Ebonyi State, 1,957 inmates were set free from 8 medium security custodial centers. You know, so they're saying that because of all that, the violence that marred everything, we should.
I think that our leaders should realize it's different.
Yeah,
it was totally different, and we must keep saying it.
What's different?
The NSAS protest and the vandalism that took place after was different. People took advantage of the situation, but it doesn't mean that we should not discuss the issues that were raised that led to the protest in the first place. NSAS had issues hinging on it. Yeah. The issues of police brutality was hinging, and we haven't seen decisive action from the government. The IG is saying last week that the court case was wrong.
So
they went to court.
So is that
there must
be. They are different. You're right.
Yes.
Because the government
don't lump it together.
Yes, but you see, if we do allow another protest, it can then deteriorate again. That's what the government said. Hang in there. We're still working on it.
I support that we should allow, because we were victims of what happened after the protest. After the protest, however, the government should go beyond stopping protesters, but by doing what we are asking for. Okay, that's the lasting solution.
Let's review the papers.
Congratulations to all of those that won the senatorial elections and the by-elections that took place. I think that our politicians, we need to do more as citizens to go into the elections and vote. Okay. We need to go into the elections and vote. The election took place after today, and there was a large voter apathy. People did not turn out to vote, and I think we should pay more attention to all this by-elections.
Okay, let's move on to the Nigerian Tribune. Police warn another hashtag NSAS protest not allowed. We talked about that. Local government's style of toll collection, major challenge to Nigeria's tax administration, says FIRS. APC NEC, governors in final push to consolidate grip on party organs. I think that's... there's no other story. Did you take any story there? Southwest governors deviating from Omotekun's OPC coordinator.
Yeah, so the OPC coordinator is saying that what they had agreed on, what Omotekun should be doing during their summit, seems that they're falling below expectations. That the continuous killings and kidnapping in the region, and also especially because of the monarch, the Ondo state monarch that was killed as well. And the particular axis, I forgot the name, if you could help me. Okay, there's this, the axis, there's just so many bandits and armed robbery happening there. And he says that given what they had discussed, this shouldn't be the case. And so the Southwest governors need to go back and sit down and come up with or just make sure they fall back on the guidelines that they had promised the people of this region. And I guess it will be quite disappointing because we made so much noise about why the importance of having a regional policing, and then to see that they are not, up to expectations. They have to sort that out.
Thanks, Mariam. Let's move on to Vanguard. Ports face total shutdown nationwide. Revealed how Mina was arrested and extradited. We're ready for negotiation of 2009 agreement, says ASU. Abia governor suspends COS for spraying cash on cleric and cleric Odumeji in his office. Ondo 2020 Jagede's legal battle against Akeredolu begins today. OPC and Moteku bicker over implementation guidelines. There's lots of stories I want to take. The major headline, first of all, I'm happy that this says as maritime workers, they embark on a nationwide strike. NUPENG are saying if strike will draw government's attention to bad state of the road, so be it. And federal government, however, is pleading with the workers not to go on strike, saying that work The project was delayed because of COVID-19 and the hashtag NSAS protest. However, that work will start soon. So that's their reason, but they're hoping that NUPENG will not go on strike.
Our ports are very, very important to our economy.
And they're very
we import everything from oil to to baby food. Yeah. So it's important that we keep it functioning, but the roads are really bad. The National Association of Road Transport Workers, with the NUPENG, with the, what's the name? Maritime Workers Union of Nigeria, all of them have considered that this gridlock is caused by bad roads. Two particular roads leading straight to the port, all which need to be fixed, and they think this will draw them out. Government should do more than...
I want to take the main story. Which one to take?
Okay, take the main story.
So, Maina, as you know, he's been found. No, what happened was that we contacted Interpol to assist us in getting Maina, and they told us that they found out that Maina got on a bike and used to the border. He traveled through Sokoto to Niger, and a bikeman. They were able to find the bikeman who said he. And then they traced him all the way to, he was using the Turaya phone, they couldn't find, it was difficult to find him. Eventually they found him in the American embassy, and he was trying to claim American citizenship. And they had to call Interpol to let him know, uncle, this is a Nigerian. So he said at the moment they saw him, he said, la, meaning that it is finished. So, but that's how they found him. But at least I'm happy he's been brought back home, and he's going to face trial, because if you recall, Senator Ndume was his shorty, and unfortunately because he couldn't provide him, he was detained for a while, but he was allowed to go after a while.
I have one more story. Yes. So in Abia State, the chief of staff has been suspended. There's a video that's making the rounds on social media where it shows him spraying money on the Indaboski. I mean, many Nigerians know Indaboski. And a lot of Nigerians were upset about it. First of all, we know what the CBN guidelines is about money. You know, we do it at parties and maybe non-governmental persons, but to be in the office of government and to do that so openly and so disrespectfully.
Very disrespectful, flippant. ASU, I was going to talk about ASU. ASU is saying that they haven't called up the strike because, yes, government has negotiated, but they have not received the money. So, and because they can't, after 8 months, they can't go to work on an empty stomach. So they're saying that after government pays them the money, they'll resume. But for now, they've made an offer of 40 billion to be paid for their salaries, but it's been yet to be paid, so they can't resume work until that happens. And they're also willing to renegotiate the 2009 agreement. Remember, during Jonathan's time, they're willing to negotiate. Okay, our final paper, Daily Sun, APC, PDP fight over call for Buhari's impeachment. I used baby clothes to cover AK-47, confesses woman gun runner. Nigeria should return to parliamentary system, says Atta, ex-Akwa Ibom governor. And Ohaneze Obinwozu Umahi, 37 others appointed into electoral committee. Which story are we taking?
I got the gun runner story. So there's a lady called Talatu Imran. She's from Zamfara State, and she has been arrested and was confessing that her job for 7 years was to take arms illegally from a person called a Jew. Sorry.
I think it was like
yes.
something like
Orujeje. So she knew this particular person called Orujeje who would give her the arms, and she was supposed to transport it from him to the bandits. And the way she was able to do that, she would get a box. He would send her money. She would get a box from the market and baby clothes. She would dismantle the AK-47 rifles. That's what she used to send, and arrange them in the box, and then put all sorts of female things, pads, pants, and everything. So when the police at the checkpoint stop her and they ask, what's in your box? When she opens it and they see all those feminine things, they just let her go. And she was able to do that for 7 years. That's how she made her money. The only reason that they caught her was because the Orujeje himself was arrested, and of course, he mentioned everybody.
This story caught my attention. Nigeria should return to parliamentary system. The former governor of Akwa Ibom State was saying this, and I thought it was really profound what he said. He said that today people do not truly communicate with their representatives because they do not really seriously need their votes to get into office. That is why we need a presidential system. So the parliamentary system made it possible for those representing the community to be elected by the community, not the political parties. So the truth is that in the system, you are complaining about voter apathy. Most people know it's a party. So it's not really me. It's not really my vote that's going to count. It's the party. So that's why people are not really involved. And he's saying we need to go back to the parliamentary system because people then have that connection with the people because you need their votes.
And you, the politician, you understand that.
The PDP, through the PDP caucus in the House of Representatives are calling for the impeachment of the president, saying that the president has accusing president of allegations of violating the Section 14(2)(b) of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which provides security to the people and the welfare of the people being the primary purpose of the government. So they're calling for the impeachment. APC, on the other hand, the House leader Al-Hassan Adodugua says that it is unpatriotic for PDP to call for the impeachment of the president at this time, that those things have been, that this is the result of what we're seeing, the insecurity we're seeing in the country, the result of the bad government we've had before now, and that in the past, in 16 years, and that APC in the past 5 years have tried to make things significantly better.
Let me tell you what
to
he
a
said
significant extent.
Let me tell you what he said. Thank you. That is a bit vague.
Yeah.
He said APC has done a lot. That statement, I've been hearing that a lot, that phrase, they've done a lot. What exactly is the lot? Don't give us vague responses. The government has done a lot.
Yes.
What to break it down?
The president said it when he was replying.
I'm talking about the security now. I'm talking about security.
Okay.
Security, the government has done a lot. What does a lot mean as regards to security? Have you given them arms? Have you given them the support they need? How much training have you given them? These are little things that Nigerians want to hear you say. We know you're doing something, but let us hear it. Don't just say, we're doing a lot to combat insecurity. That's not sufficient anymore. That was back in the day. But Nigerians today want to hear what you're doing. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we go to our first hot topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So over the weekend, a viral video of an unidentified lady was stripped, dehumanized by a suspected army officer in Ogun State. We keep hearing this type of stories on a daily basis, and the situation seems to keep getting worse, despite the just concluded nationwide #EndSARS protests. Nigerians have complained about police brutality on all fronts. In this situation, this video, we saw a young woman being dehumanized. Different reasons have been given for this, but we're not sure which it is. But our conversation today is hinged on why must our security operatives be seen in these situations? What has been put in place to avert this? Because we thought the police and the army are working on ensuring that their officers are reorientated going forward, especially as a fallout of the protests that happened. Let's hear your view. You can call us on 090-241-63440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag TVC so we can read your tweet. And our objective is, do you think the protests, the agitations are really getting through? Are we getting through? The IGP might get it, the COAS might get it, Chief of Army Staff might get it, but is it trickling down to the people? Are people getting the fact that, listen, these are citizens that you're meant to protect? I think you feel, how else can they approach this, do you think?
So I think that the power that has been given to the army and the military over civilians all through the time where we had military interregnum consistently over a long time, over and over again, has become like a norm to them. There's this feeling of power, and power intoxicates. Power must be checked, and it must be checked in a way that during training we must bring up our military to understand that their responsibility is to protect, and at no point should they fight or beat the citizens. But the opposite is what we've seen for years. Growing up, I live in Mile 2, just around there's a barracks around you. If you walk around that place anyhow, you get slapped, you get beaten. There's no reason. You are not allowed to hang around, and that has been the norm in our environment. So before we can get it to trickle down, it will take a lot more than Twitter protest, or it will take the government sitting up and giving court-martial decisively to many people and publicly declaring that this is not acceptable anymore. And so there are many things we have issues with. One, from every standpoint, for no reason should any citizen be treated in such way by the military. None. No reason, no justification. Even if the person is a confirmed criminal or a thief, does not justify them being beaten, especially being a woman. Like, why would you do that to a woman?
But somebody will say that there are lots of unruly citizens. There are a lot of people, I mean, we don't know what happened. I mean, as I said, there are different reports here. But people will say that there are people who actually go to try to be, they sometimes aggravate the situation by taunting some of these army guys.
I can agree with taunting police. But army, the average Nigerian is scared of the army people. Like the army have our respect most of the time. Like people look at them and we respect ourselves around them. So for me, we've given them so much respect, and I don't want a case of we'll do the court martial inside. I want it. Can we have a public like an obvious
public hearing?
Yes, public hearing of what this one that happened. Because thankfully, there's a video that shows what happened.
Okay, Mariah, we're all Nigerians, so we're not going to discuss this, like some theory. So, and a few of us have been victims or have seen people, and it's usually for even the flimsiest of reasons that the police would stop you and harass you and assault you. There have been stories of people of the way they dress. They think you've dressed a certain way. I have been approached once, a long time ago, as a young girl, and I was told, "Hey, you, where are you going? What are you wearing?" But I don't know what happened. He changed his mind and he left. But I have heard stories of young ladies who were almost stripped naked because the military person or the police officer just thought you did not look decent enough to be walking.
So people be naked.
Then there are people who will tell you that young men are walking with, and they will have their afro and they will call them and take scissors to their head. And just as you said, Chakwe, it's just really that idea of we have power over you. I have a gun, I have power, and I can tell you how to live your life. If I say you should jump, you jump. It does not matter. You have no rights where I stand. And it has to do with training. It has to start from the top. You have to show that, see, when someone gets into trouble with a top military person, you send your boys to go and pick them up. Your boys understand that the next time too they have something, they send the next level of boys to go and drag someone. Enough to just tell the junior officers, this is not what you do. And then you, Oga, sitting in the office, when you feel upset by a certain situation, you send these junior officers to go harass people.
That was where I was going to go, because I know that also leaders do this. They send police to you to harass. But in this video, as I said, we're not even the harassment of the dehumanize. There's one thing to harass. There's another one to dehumanize. When somebody is stripped and you violated in public. Now, that in itself shouldn't be a totally different crime in itself, because that in itself is something that, this is enough to get public outcry and get people back on the streets. And I think that's what Nigerians, especially our leaders, must begin to understand. You are still on eggshells. They are treading on eggshells. They must really take things easy across board, and they must make sure that every strata of every level in these parastatals understand what's at stake, because Nigerians are already threatening to go back to the streets.
So your question was earlier that are they getting it? Like, are the people understanding that like we can't continue like this? And the truth is that they don't. That's the thing. When you talk to a few people that are in the social media space, they get it. But even when you talk to the older people in their 50s, they wonder, what is this about? Why are people protesting? What's happening? They should dress well now. They should cut off the dreads now. Why are they carrying? Why do they have tattoos on? Why is a man having dreadlock? What's a boy doing with a smartphone that is that big? Why are they carrying? So they don't truly understand. So we play lip service to this idea of what's the word? Human rights. We play lip service to what human right means. And then a lady is wearing a short dress, and you say, who could be naked, and you tear off her dress. And that is seen as a normal thing, like you're disciplining that child or disciplining that girl. That we should deal with it.
Let me take this call from Lawrence. Lawrence, are you there? Lawrence, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Mariah.
Morning, sir.
I blame the military man that commit that atrocity, but I know nowadays the way girls are wearing their dress is not tolerable. So we need to elect more girls that they should change their dress.
Okay, Lawrence. Ooh, I would have loved to ask Lawrence this question.
There we go again. Yeah. So if your daughter,
that's patriarchy talking.
Yes. There's sometimes that we wear dresses and you're in the house, you don't know that it's transparent, and then you get to the office and realize that, oh, I can see what you're wearing under. So on your en route to the office, somebody sees you and say, your dress is transparent. You could be naked and tears your dress, and society say, what was she wearing? But it's your child. So So that's what I said, Mariah, we're playing lip service to this idea of human rights.
So for me,
we know that there's an investigation ongoing. So as I said, we don't even know for a fact if it was because of the record. That's what social media is saying. Or because of what she's wearing. But we don't know that for a fact. So we're waiting for them to let us know what happened, what caused this dehumanization. Although there's no reason for it. But let's get to the root cause. But that's what people are thinking, that it's probably because of what she was wearing.
Yeah, but Mariah, we can talk about it generally. We're Nigerians, as I said earlier, and we have seen these things happen. For various reasons. You know, you were saying something about where's the outcry, why are people not coming out? A few times women have come out to complain about things like that, but you know, there's a way that Nigeria society looks at issues that concern women, and also what they would say like a category of women. I know that there was a time where some women had talked about how the police would stop them, arrest them, and sometimes if they didn't have money to give, they would be raped. I think, you know, it was a story. It was major. NGOs took videos. You know, there was conversations concerning it. And what usually happens is that they will say they're prostitutes. And once you tell Nigerian, oh, she was a prostitute, well, whatever happens to her, she deserved it. How dare her stand on the road and wait for somebody to come and pay for her services? And because of that, she loses all her rights. What is important, and I do hope, and I don't think it's hard to tell a uniformed person who goes through series of trainings that this is not the way to treat someone you may think is indecently dressed.
I've shared this experience before. I've had one of these experiences. It wasn't an army. It was, I think, Navy, I believe. And I think I've shared this once on the show. We're all going on the line in traffic. He wanted to get in, and he tried. I mean, he was practically unruly. He just pushed everybody away, and he forced us to stop and just broke the entire line. I can't remember exactly what happened. Anyway, I came down, wanted to be the bold Nigerian citizen. And I got down to him and I said, sorry, what you did was very, very wrong. I approached him. I was still very, very, very naive. He came down, he was shocked as a woman. He came to talk to me. First of all, he told me to kneel down. I didn't answer him. Now called his boys. They forced me to kneel down. I knelt down. And then I saw all the wahala. I had to start begging. They said I must apologize. How did I go and ask? And I had to, I mean, this was many years ago. But it was on going down to Muson Center from the express for trying to get into that exit, going to the ramp. Was that, but he stopped, there was traffic. He caused a delay, congestion, just because he wanted me to apologize. I didn't know why I had to apologize, but they pushed me down. Even
right now, if you knew that we said a gun, you would apologize.
I hadn't seen the gun, they didn't have guns, though. But by the time they gathered around me,
of course,
and pushed me and forced me that I must apologize for even asking or confronting him. Was until that happened that I had
thank you for relaying that experience, because that's part of the power thing that we're talking about, where an official, a military person, police, powerful people can't stay in traffic. Uniformed people, they can't stay in traffic. If they are caught in traffic, they would go above and beyond. They will get their order to clear the road. They will stop you, like they will stop you from moving. And then go by the side until they go ahead of you. And that is allowed, Murayo. It happened during the military reign. But right now in civilian time, we still have people that have uniforms feeling like they can't stay in traffic. They must be allowed to pass through traffic regardless of whatever is going on or what caused the traffic in the first place.
Good morning, are you there? Thanks for calling.
It must be holistic.
Hello? Bisola?
Morning.
Thanks for calling, you're live.
Okay, this issue is very, very rampant in that area. I actually school there, and I know we go through every day. I try as much as possible to make sure I'm keeping before going out. There was a day I was harassed because I didn't give a soldier my number. So it is very, very rampant. I don't know if there is a group that oversees whatever they do. I don't just understand, but it's something that happens every day. And so whenever we are going for our classes, to make sure what you are putting on is not exposed. In fact, I try as much as possible to work like I need medicine. So that they can see that, okay, this one is not even fine. She doesn't even have anything. So I can walk past them. It's very, very rampant. I don't know what has to be done. Maybe there should be an agency overseeing whatever they are doing. Because it's just like another man's land in that place. Like, they take laws into their hands.
Wow.
So
thank you very much,
normal thing around that side. It is not new to anyone.
You know, she's talking about if they have someone that oversees. The thing is that it's a general mindset. The person who is meant to oversee what you're doing also has that mindset. I know of people who have said, you know, sometimes a male police officer would arrest them for things like indecent dressing or something, the way they look. And when they get to the police station, they would see a female police officer and try to appeal to her. And she even turns out to be worse than the man. Right. So it's just a general mindset that, you know, when it comes to uniform people, just keep your mouth shut.
Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on this issue of the fact that security operatives who are supposed to protect lives and properties of Nigerians are recently seen more now to actually be engaged in lots of dehumanizing acts against the same people they're supposed to be protecting. And that's our focus this morning. Is it that the mentality of our citizens, the mentality of these security officials are still so difficult to change at this time? And I'd like us to take a few tweets on this matter. So, do you have any tweets for us?
Yes. Mayawa says, Mariah, please don't say this. There is nothing the lady would have done to warrant putting her naked. Let's be objective. Are there no other means for punishment? We must kindly stop this and stop talking down. Remember, that is why the hoodlums were indecent dressed. Daddy Matilda says, indecently dressed or not, no security operatives or individuals should harass anybody on how they dressed, so far as the person is an adult and aware. The same Ojuore has some street urchins who harass passers-by. Why aren't the military guys dealing with those? Someone else says, the citizens respect uniform personnel due to their dress and gun, but this doesn't permit them to assault people because it is if the citizens are allowed to carry guns, I don't think military will have the courage to assault them as they will also resist.
Okay, I think I have a call. Good morning, are you there? Okay, I just lost that call. But see, one of the things I'd like us to take out this conversation is that it's important that people understand times are different. You see, there are times these things were happening and people just, it was a way of life, we accept it, that's how it is. But more Nigerians are getting more enlightened, they understand their rights, they're saying they can go to the streets, they can protest, they can write to their leaders, they can demand and say we will not continue this injustice. And the leaders must understand that the information on how to treat citizens must trickle down to the most junior staff going forward, especially in states that we don't have that they don't have that population like Lagos State. Here in Lagos, you can say, okay, it's hard to get the message around, but Ogun State, there are certain states that are smaller that the information should actually get around.
I remember former governor of Lagos State, Fashola, made a policy of no sirens. And he exemplified it. He joined the traffic. You will see that it's his convoy, but he will stay there. He wasn't disturbing people. His deputy governor did the same thing. It trickled down. There was law and order. It might have taken the first 4 years or second 4 years, but we saw how people started conforming, and we saw like Lagos can be sane. Lagosians can obey. We can go and join the queue. It just has to start with exemplary leadership, and it needs to be exemplified at the point that there is conscious punishment of those that move away from the values you are trying to propagate, and it will take a while, but it's consistency. And so what we are seeing now is a result of abuse and hypocrisy. So you play lip service and say, don't brutalize them, don't beat people, but when your own convoy is going, look at what happened. Sadly, I know that the speaker, Butavia Miller, isn't such a person. He hasn't pushed himself like that, but see what happened with his own convoy. He's saying he had no idea that one of his aides shot into the air and somebody died. Why should they be shooting live bullets? Why should they even have a gun? The focus should be on our objective is to protect you and help to. And if you have protected the people, if the people feel well taken care of, they will not attack the citizens in the leaders in the first place.
Yeah, we just need. Yes, for me, we just need to teach ourselves better. We need to train, because for some people, they actually do not know that what they're doing is unacceptable, is wrong, because uniformed policemen or uniformed personnel have done this, and you have people around cheering them on, saying, well done, the person deserved it. So we need to have this conversation constantly and continuously so people understand that there's a better way to handle different kinds of situations. You don't have to brutalize someone. You don't have to strip them naked. You don't have to assault them to pass a message across. And sometimes policing doesn't always have to be about punishment. It's a time to educate somebody.
Yes.
Sis, come, this is not how to dress next time. There's the respect that that person would live with, and even feel more shame if that person is really indecently dressed, and do better next time.
All right, I think we can wrap up on that. Thank you very much, ladies. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. So, we are obviously in the Yuletide season. We're currently witnessing our worst economic recession in 4 decades. On the show today, our guests will enlighten us on how to maximize the opportunities around this season. Joining us on the show is a renowned wealth creation agent, Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you doing, sir?
Of your view.
It's
How are you guys doing?
It's always a pleasure. So whenever we have you like this, we know it's a full day conversation.
Okay.
So this is the situation. We already are in recession, and everybody's worried about the fact that food prices are up. Many businesses are losing money, and this is a season for spending. People want to spend and be merry and buy and buy. How can we marry both situations where we're in recession, things are expensive, and also we would like to spend some money? How do we manage and maximize what we have at this time?
Okay, thank you very much for having me. Now, when you say we are in recession, I don't know who are the we, because some people have been in recession forever. So they have never seen anything but recession. So when people mention all these heavy words, recession, depression, people are like, have we ever been out of it before? And there are people that have never been in recession. So when you see recession, they refuse to participate because they are not part of that equation. So the reality is that things are hard and times are tough, things are challenging, but it's always been like that, and it will always be like that. The only thing you need to ask yourself is, how do I get out of that equation? The United Nations have defined living in poverty as living below $1 a day, and living in abject poverty as living below, living in poverty as living below, living in abject poverty as living below $1 a day. And if you look at our nation, you find out that for as long as I can remember, majority of Nigerians have lived in poverty. However, in order for you to come out of poverty and financial lack, there are time-tested, universal principles that guarantees that you will be able to exempt yourself. But the problem is, are we ready to learn those principles, and are we ready to apply those principles? For instance, you have spoken about the fact that there is recession. However, we are in a time of spending. The question is, who defined that time as a time of spending? If somebody has defined the time as a time of spending, must you accept their definition? Can't you make a decision on your own personal life? Because there are only 3 things you can do with money. You can either waste it, you spend it, or you invest it. Foolish people waste money. Average people spend money. Wise people invest money. So you need to now ask yourself, am I a waster, a spender, or an investor? So regardless of the times, whether it's beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year, you have to be able to have personal financial goals, your personal financial plan, your personal financial habit, your personal financial value.
Okay.
So you remember in those days when we were growing up, they used to have Christmas chicken, Christmas clothes. And it became like a major bondage to people. Hey, where's my Christmas clothes? And I keep asking people, what is the benefit of a Christmas clothes when the Christ of Christmas is not in your life?
Right.
What is the benefit of Christmas chicken? Is it sweeter than the other chicken?
All right. Let me get a few more questions in for you, sir.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sir, I understand, the rationale about not spending when you do not have enough, but the truth is that the way we lead our lives, sometimes our culture comes into play. So we have a tradition where, especially around this holiday season, even where as a business, as a person, if you haven't done well, you're expected to spend some sort of money, maybe on bags of rice, bottles of oil that you give either to your staff or to family members,
your clients.
to clients, all this what do you call these baskets, that gift baskets that we do. It's a culture. And then as a business, it's like you're setting yourself up for, you know, favor going forward.
Right.
And when you don't do that, it doesn't tell well about your business and also relationships going forward. How would you manage that?
Okay, you see, you don't solve a problem at the same level of intelligence you were in when you created the problem. And any culture that does not promote your well-being is a useless culture that has expired and needs to be sent out. If COVID has not taught us any lesson, then we may never learn forever. Now, you have brought two things together. One, corporate. Two, personal and family. For the corporate, as a corporate entity, there is what we call cash flow management and financial management. You already know, okay, I have customers. If you understand financial management and cash flow management, a portion of your profit, a portion of your income must already be earmarked for what you are mentioning now. So we know, okay, as a company, at the end of the year, we're going to do it. So it is already part of the budget. It's already part of the financial plan and financial policy. So by the time we are getting to December, the money for that is already in a separate account. If you want to do barako at the end of the year, then have a budget and a plan for it. So it means that, okay, December we're going to do get together. So from January, every money you are making, you now say, okay, maybe I should start saving X% for December. Not that January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, you didn't save, you didn't plan. The whole of a sudden, in December, you now realize that there is one culture. Abba, who did this to us? So all these things, must you follow the bandwagon? If you have done the same thing for 20 years and it's not producing results, must you not change it? If you are going to get a different result from your fathers and your mothers, you must do something different. If we do it the way they have been doing it, we only get the result they have been getting. All the barako and all the end of the year, Christmas and party we have done, where did it lead us to? We're able to wear clothes in COVID or go and eat party in COVID. Now COVID is out, you want to waste again. You want to swallow your future. Listen, you need to understand. Once your expenditure is greater than your income, your upkeep will become your downfall. If you eat tomorrow's food today, you'll be hungry tomorrow. If you wear tomorrow's clothes today, you'll be naked tomorrow.
Okay.
If you live tomorrow's life today, you have no life to live tomorrow. So we have to face the reality of our personal economy.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I'm told that we have to go for a live show right now. I'm told that the president will be making a speech at an event and we'll be cutting up. But we'll continue the show on the TV's Entertainment channel. Go ahead, Tokwe.
Okay, so this is just for our viewers on TV's Entertainment. I wanted to ask, something very similar to what Dr. Olumide Malen is saying now happened to me just yesterday. I'm sure the person who's actually watching the show reached out to me that she needed financial help. And I said, what for? And she said that it was because she wants to use the money to print calendars that she will give her customers. And I'm like, must you do this for your customers? That do what is convenient for you. And I think that what he's been saying since is to help us understand that you don't put yourself under pressure to do what everybody else is doing unless it's convenient for you. However, there's some things that are not, it's not about convenience, like food. People have visitors this season. You cannot tell them you're not at home. And you also need to, you spend more time at home this season and you'd want to eat well. What are the advice you would give concerning people that are considering how to shop smart or how to dress up their kids? A few of those things that are general expenses, sending money to our parents, like this is the season, you have to send money to parents and family members. And how can we walk around it? And what do you think we can do for those that feel it is not enough? What they have is not enough.
Okay. Now, that is why financial planning and budgeting is part of everybody's personal economy. It is when these things are missing that we keep coming back to all this. But these principles have been there. Why must it be December that you are thinking of sending money to your parents when your parents have been alive since January? Why must it be December you are thinking of doing? Why couldn't you have been putting those things together before now? If you don't have the plan, it will not work. So let me start with the food. Now, so because that's basic need. Now, why do you eat? Because if we don't go back to these basics, we will continue to remain in poverty. Why do we eat? You eat to live. You don't live to eat. So
Fantastic.
you eat for nourishment. You eat to be able to nourish yourself.
Right.
So once you have understood that, do you now need to eat 3 times for that to happen? We have all gotten into the group think and the rot of 3 square meal. Is 3 a square or a triangle?
Thank you very much.
Where did you get the idea you must eat 3 times a day?
Right.
So that is where personal economy comes. You sit down and say, my family.
All right, sir. Thank you very much, Pastor Lumide Emmanuel. It's always a pleasure having you. It's always a pleasure having you. Thank you so much, sir, for shedding light on this. Obviously, planning is the key. Right now, we have to move to Abuja. We have a live transmission ongoing right now. We'll be linking up to Abuja studios.
Of honor, Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of